Welcome fans to WECU Court in Carver Gymnasium for tonight's game featuring the Central Washington Wildcats and your Western Washington Vikings. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we gather tonight on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish peoples who have lived in the Salish Sea Basin throughout the San Juan Islands and the North Cascades watershed from time immemorial. Please join us in expressing our deepest respect and gratitude for our indigenous neighbors, the Lummi Nation and Nooksat tribe, for their enduring care and protection of our shared lands and waterways. Fans, at this time, please rise if able and remove your caps. Military veterans are welcome to render a salute as we join with the playing of the national anthem by the WWU Viking Band. Now let's meet the student athletes from both teams. First, for the visiting Wildcats from Central Washington. The starting lineup is announced by head coach Randy Richardson and assistant coaches Jessica Richardson and Tiara Scott. And now starting with a junior forward from Clascane, Oregon, number 5, Shelby Blodgett. A senior guard from Whittier, California, number 10, Sunny Hireta. Senior guard from Snohomish, Washington, number 11, Malia Smith. Sophomore forward from Post Falls, Idaho, number 13, Capri Sims. A junior guard from Colfax, Washington, number 21, Asher Kai, the Central Washington Wildcats. Now let's meet your 2024-25 WWU Vikings. Five for your Vikings are announced by head coach Carmen Dolfo and assistant coaches Stacy Terrell, Katrina Jamaica, and Mike Lee. Tonight's honorary coach is Keena Greer, the owner of Muyat Group Real Estate. And now it's time to meet the starters. Starting with a senior guard from Bainbridge Island, Washington, number 1, Olivia Wickstrom. A sophomore guard from Linden, Washington, number 13, Demi Dykstra. A junior forward from Sumner, Washington, number 20, Allison Deaver. A junior guard from Vancouver, Washington, number 23, Mason Oberg. And a senior guard from Marysville, Washington, number 25, Maddie Granbois. Your Western Washington Vikings.
Welcome to Bellingham, Washington, home of the Western Washington Vikings. This is Saturday night GNAC basketball on Vikings TV. The Central Washington Wildcats come into Carver Gym to face your Vikings in a rivalry night face-off. I'm Zen Hill, joined by Butch Kamina, back on color commentary here for the classic, Central versus Western.
It is good to be back here, there, and everywhere. But now we get Western Central, and these have been great games the last few years. These are two excellent programs, and I would have said that the Wildcats were probably my preseason pick to win the GNAC this year, understanding the firepower that they have with Asher Kai and Sonny Huerta. And 10-3, 6-1 in conference, they lived up to that. The Vikings, building through all the adversity they've had with injuries and everything else, have found a little bit of rhythm here, and this will be a good battle tonight.
Should be. Ready for a tip-off. Vikings coming off the loss against Northwest Nazarene on Thursday, trying to bounce back here at home. Of course, eyes on number 700 potentially for the Vikings in Carmen Dolfo. 40 minutes of action underway. Central Washington has the ball on offense first, and of course Asher Kai handles it with the first attack, gives it off to her teammate who finishes it there, Shelby Blodgett, the first Wildcat on the board. Vikings back on their own side, has Olivia Wickstrom without a dribble, went off of a Wildcat foot. Asher Kai onto the floor, tied up in a jump ball, will be Western Washington's possession after Central Washington won the tip about 30 seconds ago. Vikings now 8-6 overall, 3-2 in their conference play as Mason Oberg gets ready to set it in motion for Western Washington. Demi Dykstra back in that starting lineup. We saw her on Thursday return from her 3-game absence off the injuries she had during the road trip. Wickstrom inside the paint, lofts it up too strong, bounced around for a couple of minutes and then picked up by Capri Sims. Sonny Huerta will dribble it down for the Wildcats. Opposite court pass, Asher Kai on the right wing. Goes around a screen, now to her left on the left block, puts up a floater and gets it through. Wildcats perfect, 2 for 2 on their first attack.
A multifaceted scorer. She'll hit threes, she'll put you on the drive, and twice on the drive already, an assist and a finish, and she'll post up some as well.
It is one of the most dangerous 1-2 combos in the nation, Asher Kai and Sonny Huerta. With their high scoring outputs, of course, Huerta can catch fire from the field, but also Asher Kai, 3-level scorer, as you mentioned, Butch. Vikings still trying to get their first points. Demi Dykstra holding the ball. Now Wickstrom has it on a wraparound, fights through 2 defenders, but just can't get the layup.
Liv Wickstrom's gotten 2 really good looks they just haven't fallen for. Nice cut to create that opportunity.
Wildcats on offense. Kai facilitating again to her teammate Blodgett, but she is pushed and fouled. On the ground, they'll get it on the baseline.
So we see a theme at this end already. 3 times Asher Kai's been able to get into the paint off the dribble. Immediately we'll see Jaden Watts in for Olivia Wickstrom.
Jaden Watts was very efficient when she was starting for the Vikings during the time where Demi Dykstra was out with her knee injury. Watts has been the 6th man of this team. The inbounds for the Wildcats goes to Sims, and she finishes the layup.
She is the 3rd leading scorer, 8.5 points a game, roughly 7.8 rebounds a game.
Wildcats coming off of a victory against Simon Fraser, 82-70 on Thursday north of the border. As Mason Oberg for the Vikings spins around, rattles her across the rim and through.
Both teams finding it pretty easy to get into the lane so far.
Vikings finally able to get on the board. 4-point lead for the Wildcats as Dykstra tips it out of bounds. Wildcats will have the sideline inbounds coming. We'll take one more look at Mason Oberg creating inside. Just getting it to drop. Huerta, the senior, moves around Maddie Granbois to the left side of a screen from Sims. Looks for her teammate outside. Popping a 3 is Smith, and she knocks it through. 9-2 lead for the Wildcats as Central Washington coming out with hot shooting. Watts gives a pass out from the post. It's Granbois on the left side. She had 13 points on Thursday, tied for the team lead as she dishes it off to Watts. Takes one dribble and then inside, can't convert. Offensive rebound by her, fights off a couple of defenders, doesn't have a dribble. Top of the key, Maddie Granbois with 15 on the shot clock. 7-point deficit for Western. The pass goes to Oberg. Step behind the three-point line. Hits off back iron. Dykstra couldn't get it. Rebounded by Huerta. Turned into transition for the Wildcats. Huerta hesitates and now under the basket finds her teammate Smith. Another three-pointer just comes up short, but Huerta gets tripped up during the offensive rebounding process, and she is fouled by Demi Dykstra.
Just lunged for the ball and on the rebound and couldn't quite get there in time. You see Mason Oberg with a nice spin into the middle for the layup.
Still the Vikings' only basket in this game as that jump shot goes off the side of the backboard and goes out of bounds. Vikings ball. Incoming for Central Washington, Riley Johnson, as Shelby Blodgett will head to the bench. Vikings are coming off of a game against the Nighthawks where they shot their season low from the field, 29% as a team, and also shot 20% from three. Was their second lowest shooting performance. It was a rough outing against NNU. Vikings only scored 51 points.
You can confirm this for me. You were here. I really watched your brilliant work. Looked like they had opportunities, right?
They did.
It was not a matter of not having open shots.
It's just not the ones, couldn't make the easy ones. As Huerta goes inside for the Wildcats. Kai for three. Too strong. Rebound Grambois. Vikings got their chances definitely against the Nighthawks, but just could not find consistency from the field. They had a very good third quarter, but the first half was just too much to come back from off the poor shooting as Jaden Watts will take a long two, rebounded by Kai off the miss. Vikings still just one basket in the first quarter. Approaching 4 minutes gone in our first period. Smith to her left with Dykstra shadowing her. Huerta hesitates, dribbles around. Dykstra fades away from her, rolls it around the rim. Can't get it as Watts gets the rebound. Vikings looking for some offense as Oberg will have it on the right wing. Goes around a screen of Watts to her left. Oberg looking back for a teammate, now cuts to the basket, dribbled it off her foot, tackles a defender down to the floor for a jump ball. This time it'll be Wildcats possession as Wickstrom will enter back in. Kira Marsh coming in for the Wildcats as well as Aaliyah Finch. And Vanderjagt also going to come in for Demi Dykstra. Dykstra still dealing with that knee injury, has the brace on, had a poor shooting night against Northwest Nazarene, put up a ton of shots but didn't get a lot of them to go through.
Had a little burst in the fourth quarter. Other than that, struggled a bit from the field.
Kai inside, got the defender off her, goes straight through Vanderjagt into the basket, and it's 11-2 lead for Central. Vikings need an answer here if their offense has struggled out of the gates as they did against NNU. Vanderjagt finds her teammate in Granbois. Granbois getting to the lane, floats it up, comes up short, right into the arms of Wickstrom for an offensive rebound. 6 on the shot clock as the shot clock did not reset. Vikings got to get up a shot with 2 seconds. Back out to Vanderjagt. She's going to have to put it up for 3 and comes up short. And they're going to say did not touch any of the rim. So it'll be a shot clock violation. And under 5 minutes, it sends us into our immediate timeout. So an 11-2 score right now. Central Washington has come out with a 9-point lead, 4:48 left. When we come back on Vikings TV.
Hey, get off your... Show off. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Mountain Dew.
Back in Carver Gym, Central Washington leading Western Washington 11-2, mainly because Asher Kai having a good start.
18.5 points a game, and she is, as we said, a multifaceted scorer. And early on tonight, it's been off the dribble, attacking the rim, getting into the heart of the Viking defense. And Central Washington 5 of 9 from the field. Vikings had a reasonably good defensive performance the other night. Northwest Nazarene had a game, they scored 115 points this year. The Vikings kept them in the 60s, but so far tonight, struggling at that end of the floor.
Vikings have held their opponents to 60 points or less in their last 3 games, as Asher Kai, right out of the break, continues her hot start, and now a double-digit lead for Central Washington, up by 11 against the Vikings. Big part of Western Washington's offense that struggled was Northwest Nazarene had a full-court press they're in for almost the entire game, caused a lot of turnovers, second most turnovers on the season for a game by a Western Washington team this year. Wickstrom through the contact and one.
You know, she had gotten there a couple of times and not been able to finish, and this time, real determination, protected the ball very well, went up strong through the contact. The chance to finish the and one.
Wickstrom has turned into the Vikings' offensive threat, 14.3 points per game, just barely a fraction above Allison Deaver, who's also averaging in the 14s, as Wickstrom will try to add the free throw here to complete the three-point play. Wickstrom is the reigning GNAC Player of the Week. Last week averaged 19 points, 13.5 rebounds in the wins over Western Oregon and St. Martin's. Gets the free throw to go, and now the Vikings trail by 8. Long pass cross court to Kai, almost forced her out of bounds, but she jumped up like a receiver and brought it into the touchdown. But Huerta on offense tried to find a cutting Kai. It's stolen right by Grambois in the lane. Grambois going quickly for Western, will then slow down and find the point guard Wickstrom. Wickstrom will dribble handoff to Dykstra and then checked her on it. It's going to be an offensive foul.
The temptation on the dribble handoff, because you're already kind of moving on the dribble, is to keep moving, right? And if you go through somebody like that, like you're a pulling guard for Vince Lombardi and the Packers in the 60s, it's an offensive foul in basketball.
It's an interesting guard to pick out of all guards you could have picked. High post.
That's even before my time.
Yeah. Kai getting into the lane again. 3 defenders surround her, and she can't get the layup to go this time. Vikings go quick up the floor with Oberg, who now hesitates in the near corner. Oberg finds her teammate in Dykstra atop the right wing. Pass goes inside to Deaver. Deaver back out to Oberg as the Vikings offense only 5 points in this first quarter. They trail by 8. Wickstrom spins around Deaver into the paint. 8 on the shot clock, had it poked away, and the Wildcats steal it. Sonny Huerta pass up the floor down to Coronado. Back to Huerta, top of the key. Swings it one extra time to Kai, who travels and turns it over to Western.
Vikings have gone zone these last 3 possessions, and the strength of the defense is picked up. I'm looking for words and not finding them. It's very frustrating.
It's been a while since you've been here. You got to shake off the rust. Mason Oberg handles the ball down the court for Western Washington. Right now, Oberg and Wickstrom, the only scorers for Western Washington, on 2 made field goals and 10 shots in the first quarter. Trying to get success with Deaver down low, but she's rejected there. The defense from Sims to get the ball out of bounds. Vikings will keep possession, 12 on the shot clock on a baseline inbounds coming. Jaden Watts back into the game for the Vikings. Deaver will head to the bench. Oberg, as always, will set the play in motion from the baseline, trying to find her teammate. Finds the newly checked-in Watts. 10 on the shot clock for Wickstrom. Free throw line jumper rolls through for Wickstrom.
It's kind of odd front look, kind of a 3-2. It morphs a lot, but it's had some success here the last couple minutes.
Smith missed a 3. Vikings back on offense, down by 6. Grand Boyce around the defense into the paint. Some contact as she faded away. Nothing to draw a foul, and missed her shot as well. So Central Washington under 2 minutes in the first quarter, back on offense with Sonny Huerta. Kai faked a 3, now goes to the left side, finds her teammate in Smith, steps through past the defensive Wickstrom, who tips the pass. Smith got it back, throws it off a Vikings defender, and it goes out of bounds. Heads up play by Smith, who was off balance. As Johnson is back in the game for the Wildcats. Central Washington, a 6 for 12 shooting in the first quarter, 50%. Vikings at just 25. Central is one of the best shooting teams in the nation. Kai with 5 on the shot clock against Dykstra. Back to the basket, fades away and buries it.
I don't think Demi Dykstra could have done anything more. She stayed in front. She forced a tough 10, 12-foot fall away, and Kai just buried it.
It was smooth from Kai, who now has 8 points in the first quarter, more than the Vikings as a team. Dykstra on the outside. Pull-up jumper with a hand in her face. Watts trying to force a rebound and ends up fouling Capri Sims. Jaden Watts with the personal foul. The Vikings 4th, 1 more away from bonus. Central Washington continues their good start in this first quarter as they look to beat the Vikings. A team, when you look at the last couple of games between these two teams, Vikings have a 5-game winning streak against Central Washington. The Wildcats would love to break that at home against the Vikings. As Allison Deaver is quickly back in for Watts, under a minute now, 52.5 seconds left in the first quarter.
Critical point here, just under a minute. You could go down double digits, or you get a stop, 2 or 3, go down 4 or 5 if you can hold the Wildcats off the board here at the end of the quarter.
Kai looking to keep the momentum to the Wildcats' favor. Can't get a layup on a double clutch move, but an offensive rebound gets it out to Huerta. Misses off the left side of the rim, and Wickstrom has it. Vikings looking for a basket to try and steal some momentum heading into the second quarter.
We'll see here if they kind of, looks like they're going to work the shot clock down. They'll have to shoot with about 8 seconds left on the clock. High screen coming from Deaver here in just a moment, right about now.
Oberg uses that screen on the left. Pulls back long 2. Can't get it. Deaver off her fingertips into the corner. Whose ball? They're going to say Central Washington ball. So Wildcats will have 9.4 to put up a shot at the end of the first. And it will be Huerta. Huerta with 6, crosses half court. Oberg guarding her. Huerta gets bodied after a screen. Oberg on the floor and a pull-up jumper as time expires. Oberg took a hard screen out of nowhere, and Huerta took advantage of the open court to make it a double-digit lead now. So that'll send us into our break. Second quarter coming up next on Vikings TV. It's 17-7. Wildcats lead.
Come on, let's go. Get off here. Touchdown! Woo! Mountain Dew!
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
All this, you have to wave off the bucket, right? Or we have to go back to the end of the quarter.
Well, we're back in Carver Gym trying to figure out what happened at the end of that first quarter. Referees are looking at the play to see if there was anything extra to maybe be a flagrant. As it stands right now, 17-7 is the lead for Central Washington. A first quarter where the Wildcats came out shooting very well, 50% as a team, which you would expect. Referees are going to see if that blind side screen that really took out Mason Oberg was anything extra, and if it is something that's hurting Oberg for the rest of this game, it would just be a long line of injuries that the Vikings have dealt with.
Aspen Garrison out for the year, recovering from shoulder surgery. Ellie Croco just coming back, knee surgery, playing a little bit tonight. Jalen Rosamena out with a foot injury. A happy note, Libby Stump warmed up tonight. She is on the road to a possible recovery and return to the lineup. The transfer from Montana, where she was a double-figure scorer as a freshman, and she's been coming back from a knee injury she suffered early in her sophomore year there. It looks like the play is going to stand. We were able to see video the officials saw, and 30 years ago there had been no doubt. Old Sonic fans remember Jack Sikma setting screens like that all the time. modern era, sometimes if it's too blind, they can call that. She was very clearly established, didn't put up a forearm or anything, so I understand why they did not call that.
Second quarter now underway. Vikings have the first possession here. They need a basket greatly. Wickstrom, a deep three, comes up short as it's tipped around by Blodgett. She saves it. Sims has it and finds her point guard in Huerta. Quick pass up the court to Smith. Wildcats hit quickly on offense. Smith moving around to her left, flips it to the opposite side of the court, and Huerta. Reset at the top of the key to Smith. 14 on the shot clock for Central Washington, up by 10. High post, then out to the wing. Huerta's three is good.
So in just a couple possessions, you had the ball down 7, a chance to, and a shot to go down 5, and all of a sudden you're down 13.
Vikings need something on offense to start clicking as Central Washington is firing on all cylinders. And a steal is not what's going to do it. A turnover by Western Washington.
And the good news is Mason Oberg heading back to check into the game.
Vikings cannot afford to lose her. Can't afford to lose anyone. It's basically a 6-man rotation for the most part. Three-pointer from Kai is buried, and Central Washington is making it rain in Carver Gym tonight.
Wildcats 10 of 18 from the field, 56%.
And it's Asher Kai leading the way for the Wildcats. Last season was on the All-West Region second team, as well as a unanimous first-team All-GNACer. Jaden Watts can't get the mid-range jumper to go, and the Vikings are slipping and falling down, now by 16 points. Smith behind the back, top of the key on the right side wing. It's Asher Kai, the leading scorer, already in double digits tonight. Kai hesitation, then around a screen, guarded by Dykstra, gives it to her teammate in Huerta. The 1-2 combo, but they feed Sims inside, off balance, can't get it. Rebound, Grambois. Grambois crossing over as she gets the ball up the floor to Wickstrom on the right side. They find Deaver down low. They'd like to get her going. She tries to slither her way through, and she does off the glass.
Tough shot.
Allison Deaver, throughout the season, has been able to find those angles to just somehow slither her way to the basket, and it's led to her averaging 14 points per game.
Very good using that long step to get past the defender and then scoop a finish home.
Inside, Sims is able to answer back with a paint presence of her own. Capri Sims, the 6-foot sophomore, gets the layup, and the lead is 25-9. Granboyce in the corner, goes across the baseline, finds Watts outside, who flips the side of the court to Dykstra. She tries a three, and it's good.
So buckets on back-to-back possessions for the Vikings now. Back to getting the stops that they got for a stretch at the end of the first quarter.
Vikings down by 13 points. Huerta with a jab step around Wickstrom, then gets into the paint. Dribbles it back outside to Smith. Smith atop the key, resets the offense with 8 on the shot clock.
Western is back in man-to-man here.
Huerta around the screen, head fake, back up across the three-point line, pulls up, comes up short. Kai gets the offensive rebound. Kai with her back to the basket against Dykstra. She fades away. Dykstra rejects her this time as Wickstrom grabs the rebound and goes quick for the Vikings. High post for Watts, feeds it down into Deaver, gets her spot, out to the corner. Dykstra's three. Can't get it. Deaver offensive glass, and a putback is good. The defensive block by Dykstra started the possession, and the cleanup extra points gained by Allison Deaver. Vikings.
An unusually good shot blocker, Demi Dykstra, her 9th of the year.
Well, she got killed on that fadeaway once. She didn't let it happen twice, as the three-pointer is no good from Central. Cross-court pass up to Wickstrom as the Vikings go. Wickstrom inside, finishes it. And it's going to force a timeout by Central Washington. Vikings have cut the lead to 9 as they found some life here in the second quarter. It'll be a full timeout as we head to a break. 25-16 your score, 5:38 left here in this second quarter.
Campus to Campus is a beautiful reciprocal relationship that's really centered on how to support young students to see themselves in a different kind of way and see the possibilities for their future.
Allie was one of our first mentors. A lot of people have believed in me along the way, Allie being one of them. She's always inspired me. Now I'm at Western, actually going to college.
It's changing lives for the young students that we work with, and it's changing lives for the mentors who work with them.
Back here in Carver Gym for the Central vs. Western matchup here in a rivalry night. 9 points is the difference as Western Washington has shown some life, forcing the timeout from Randy Richardson and the Wildcats. Vikings trail by just 9 now on a 7-0 run, forcing the timeout. Dykstra had a block, also a three-pointer. Allison Deaver 4 points during that run, and Western Washington trying to keep this game close.
Yeah, they put a bit of a dent. It was 25-9 at one, 23-9 at one point. So, 7-0 run. You're down 9. You have to maintain this momentum, and it's tough for the Vikings when you're thin. You're going to have to play a lot of minutes, and so big bursts of energy may prove costly later. But you're going to have to dig in and make a run here.
Wildcats look to answer the Vikings' spurt of offense with their possession out of their timeout. Kai, a deep three. Oh. She's got it. Lights out from Kai tonight.
Dykstra was fairly tight to her, but from about 3 feet behind the line, Asher Kai has got it rolling.
As Deaver goes on the block, and she is rejected by Finch down there. Good post defense on Allison Deaver tonight from Central Washington. Vikings will keep possession on their side.
Asher Kai up to 14 points already.
That was a step and a half behind the three-point line. Her second tray of the night. Entry pass down to Deaver is blocked, but a foul called, as it'll go on Finch right after getting the block on one side of that possession. Picks up the foul this time, and the Vikings will have another baseline inbounds. Capri Sims will come back in for Central Washington as Finch heads to the bench. Sophomore replaces the junior as Oberg inbounds it. Vikings trail by 12 now, under 5 minutes left in the first half, and in this second quarter, Gramboy's tough shot, couldn't get it. Wildcats go with Coronado up the far side of the court, who feeds it inside. Sims has good positioning, opts for a teammate pass to Johnson. She's fouled and gets an and one. Riley Johnson able to convert, and now a chance at 3, and just like that, the Wildcats off their timeout, out to a big lead again.
Five quick points, a chance to make it 6 here for Riley Johnson from Kashmir.
Missed the free throw though, so it'll be a 14-point lead. Mason Oberg 1 for 3 tonight, handles it down the court, hands off to Gramboy. She hasn't scored tonight, 0 for 3, has hauled in 4 rebounds. Ellie Brockman is onto the floor for the Vikings. It's Allison Deaver backing down, gives it back out to Gramboy. Gramboy's calling for a screen. She goes around to her left, 8 on the shot clock, pick and pop for Deaver, head fake, and she traveled. And it's a turnover for Western Washington, as the Vikings have struggled to keep the ball on their side of the court. 7 turnovers for Western.
Yeah, Vikings also just shooting 30% from the field, 7 of 23.
Wildcats, seems like they can't miss. As a driving kick goes to Coronado. She's able to miss, but it's off the hands of Gramboyce, and it'll be Wildcats ball. Tough rebound attempt by Maddie Gramboyce. Riley Johnson was there behind her as well, and it's forced out of bounds off the hands of Blue. It'll be Wildcats ball. Pass down low, power dribble from Sims, and she gets the layup inside.
I'm impressed with her tonight. I saw some things last year, but she looks like a much improved player.
Sims last season averaged 9.5 points and 8.2 rebounds per game. Oberg inside, came up short on the rebound attempt. Huerta fell to the ground.
The numbers aren't dramatically different. There's just a sense of confidence that you didn't see a year ago. Just very aggressive, very assertive in a way that she wasn't as a freshman.
As Dykstra will come back in, Jaden Watts as well. Deaver and Oberg are out of the game, as Western Washington trails by 16. This tied for the largest lead for Central Washington in the matchup. Annalie Coronado, the sophomore, dribbles it down, gives it immediately to Riley Johnson in the front court. Good bounce pass inside to Sims, just couldn't get a good angle off the glass to finish the layup. And Western Washington with Wickstrom. She crosses over to her defender, switches sides of the basket.
Just left Riley Johnson in her wake with a little cross move.
Slick moves, makes it a 14-point deficit as they're just feeding Sims, but she hasn't ripped away by Watson Wickstrom. A steal for Western Washington. Brockman up the near side of the court. Feeds Watts as Sims swats her hand, and it's a foul. It'll be the second foul on Central Washington.
This is almost like a soccer winger throwing a crossover at you, right? And just a little step over and blow by to goal. And Wickstrom there and then finishing on the other side. Really nice move.
Wickstrom has made a career here at Western Washington at attacking the basket. As another foul goes on Central Washington immediately following the inbound. This one's on Coronado, her first.
I watched a lot of soccer the last few weeks. It's on my mind.
You had good reason to.
I did. I had a chance to get to watch Sunderland a couple times. It's always good.
Under 3 minutes in the second quarter. Vikings with Dykstra on the left wing corner. To the baseline goes Dykstra. She's fouled. 3 fouls in this possession for the Vikings on offense. Central Washington will send Dykstra to the free throw line for 2 shots.
The Vikings need to find, and they've been balanced over the course of the year, and when they've been successful, they've found those other options. Olivia Wickstrom's been the first option tonight. She's got 9 of the 18. Somebody else needs to step up and draw the attention of the defense, and maybe Demi Dykstra can do that.
This is a Vikings overall that is led by its 5 starting players. The starting lineup has scored over 90% of the entire scoring for the Vikings this year. They're last in the entire nation in bench points at just 5.6 per game.
Yeah, and the bench depth has just been crushed by all those injuries. As we said, this would have been if this was a fully healthy team, they would be really good 9 or 10 deep.
Western Washington likely just trying to get some conference wins, get a bid into the tournament when they're hopefully fully healthy, and then they can beat any team potentially. Huerta for the Wildcats. They're trying to get back to the GNAC tournament as well. A trip to the semifinals last year as a foul is called as the groans come from the Vikings sideline and supporters. A lot of frustration.
Thought that Blodgett was in there for about a week, but maybe she flashed in and I didn't see her early, but it seemed like she was there a long time.
She has 2 free throws off what they call a foul on Jaden Watts. She misses the first. And a 12-point game with 2:25 left in the second quarter. Central Washington as a team is one of the better scoring teams in the GNAC. We've seen them tonight put up 33 points with still 2 minutes to go in this first half against the Vikings team that has been holding its opponents to 60 points for the last 3 GNAC contests. And that also includes 30 points only held against Western Oregon. So Western's defense is no joke. Central Washington's offense on the other side of things is also something to take very serious, as Jaden Watts will get her own foul after committing one. She'll get 2 free throws on the other side of things. As Kira Marsh will come in. So you take a look at the foul once more on Aaliyah Finch, her second, and the 5th on Central Washington. So bonus for the rest of the second quarter.
So 2 fouls on Finch, 1 on Sims. Look at that, the post depth for the Wildcats isn't that expansive. Riley Leishman, who saw a little bit of time last year, is not here tonight. And so that could be something the Vikings can try to exploit.
Vikings are a team that likes to attack the basket. Got to force Central Washington to either make a miss or force a foul as Kai gets inside but comes up short and a layup on the right side. Grandboyce secures the rebound. Cross-court pass up to Wickstrom. Dykstra on the right wing, down to Deaver. Allison Deaver with her left hand gets the layup.
We've talked about soccer. They played the advantage there, right?
Exactly.
She had space.
Might have gotten hit in the arm a little bit. Fans wanted a foul. Either way, they'll take the 2 points. The Vikings now into single digits. The deficit against Central.
The contact almost bumped Allison Deaver into free open space. You know?
Showed her where it was.
Oh, nice cut.
Huerta got to the basket but couldn't finish a reverse layup. Ellie Brockman dribbles it down. Dykstra now gets into the lane. Kick out to Wickstrom. Her three-pointer comes up short. Vikings offense showing some life to end another quarter as they did at the end of the first. Wickstrom couldn't get the three, and now the Wildcats a chance to answer with Huerta. Huerta going one-on-one, gets it down low. Sims tried to put up a shot but is fouled. And free throws coming for Capri Sims.
Maddie Grandboy doubling down. Gets Sims on the arm. Capri Sims, just a 52% free throw shooter. See Deaver there again. Little catch, fight off the bump and finish.
Sims was on the honorable mention all GNAC team last year after leading the conference in offensive rebounds. Can't get the second free throw, so a 10-point lead, but an offensive rebound. Three-pointer for Huerta. She can't get it, as two Vikings are there, Brockman and Deaver. Brockman eventually gets it, and the Vikings will have possession, try to get it up to Wickstrom, but it's tipped out of bounds by Kai, jumping the lane. 41.5 seconds, Vikings sideline inbound. Dykstra moves to her left around the screen, takes a deep three-pointer and is off the left side of the rim, rebounded by Kai.
There's a minimal difference in shot and game clock of probably less than a second. So Central will work for the last shot in the capable hands of Sunny Huerta. 18 points and nearly 4 assists a game.
She's directing traffic right now. Moves around left side, gets it to her teammate on the wing, Smith. Pop out to Sims, a three-pointer, bounces around, won't go. And that's how the first half will end here. A 34-24 score right now. Vikings plenty to be frustrated about heading into the tunnel. And when we come back, second half of action between the Wildcats and the Vikings here on Vikings TV. 15-minute break and we'll be back. Welcome back into Carver Gym. Second half about to get started here between the Vikings and the Wildcats. The first half saw a 34-24 lead for Central Washington, who really came out and have started well against Western Washington here on their home floor, trying to end that 5-game streak that the Vikings have over the Wildcats. Let's look at some of those stats from that first half.
We see the overall stats there. The shooting percentages, Western only 33%, Central 45%, but 7-8 minutes in the game, the Wildcats were at about 55-56, so they cooled off precipitously there. See, not a lot of free throws at either end. Vikings 5 for 5, Central 2 of 5, 3-pointers. The Wildcats hit 4, Western just 1 of 7. Rebounds are even, steals are even. Turnovers, Western had problems early, cleaned it up as the half went on. Individual scoring, we should start with Central because Asher Kai has been outstanding. 14 points, 6 of 11 from the field. Capri Sims, 7 points, 5 rebounds. Just 3 points for Shelby Blogett, 5 for Sunny Huerta, 3 from Leah Smith, and 2 for Riley Johnson. For the Vikings, Olivia Wickstrom with 9, Allison Deaver with 6, Demi Dykstra with 5, and then just 2 each for Mason Oberg and Jaden Watts. Your halftime score, Central Washington 34, Western 24. You know, it's interesting that the last time these two teams played here, pace of the game was much different. The Vikings ended up claiming a 100-75 victory. 6 players in double figures. Brooke Walling at 21 and 12. Olivia Wickstrom had a good night that night, 14 points, 13 rebounds. I haven't dug through all of the Central games in the last 2 years. It might be the only time that Kai and Huerta, neither of them got to double figures.
Really?
Huerta had 6 points and was 2 of 20. Asher Kai had just 1 field goal and 7 points. And she was in some foul trouble, I think, if I recall. Over at Ellensburg, it was 69-60 Western. They both had, Huerta had 21 that night, and Kai had 20. But the star of that night was Riley Dykstra, who went for 30.
Oh, that was the game. You're right.
Yep, and I don't think she hit a 3 that night. I think it was just all.
It was reverse layups.
Probably all reverse layups, yes.
Second half underway here in the third quarter. 10 minutes of it and 10 in the fourth. 10-point lead for the Wildcats. Instantly a good backdoor cut pass found to Huerta to start the half off instantaneously. Vikings already give up a basket on one side, now traveling from right to left on offense. Olivia Wickstrom for the Vikings. And Allison Deaver is going to get called for an offensive foul with the blindside screen.
Yeah, that was different. I mean, they're faced up.
Yeah.
Right? That's not blind. Allison Deaver's case, I think, is she's arguing she's trying to roll, but
gray
tough
areas.
It's
gray areas.
She is not fully set. I understand that, but
tough break for the Vikings' first offensive possession in the third quarter in a home trip that has felt like a ton of tough breaks, as Asher Kai just had a nice wide open lane to the layup, and she gets it. Wickstrom tries to answer, but that 3, and she does.
That's right on our line. I was convinced that was off a little
Me
right.
too.
I'm wrong again. Nice stroke from Olivia Wickstrom.
Snuck its way into
up
there.
to 12 points.
She continues her good stretch of games into conference play as the three-pointer comes up short for Central Washington. Deaver there to secure a rebound. Wickstrom now on the left side of the court. She's going to pull up a 3 again.
Get the roll? No.
Tried to get another one to sneak into the basket. This time no good, though. Pass goes inside to Sims, tipped out of her hands by Wickstrom, and Wildcat ball on the baseline as quick subs will come in. Ellie Brockman getting some work tonight, as well as Riley Johnson. Olivia Wickstrom knocking down the 3 in her senior season here with the Vikings, the Utah State transfer in her second Vikings uniform year. Pass to Sims is tipped by Deaver. Johnson kept the possession to the Wildcats. 15 on the shot clock as Huerta has it on the outside. Hesitation behind the back, resets with Sims. Top of the key now with Smith. Smith guarded by Dykstra with 7. Hands off to Kai with 5. And an illegal screen called on Central Washington. The offensive foul goes on Smith. Both these offenses turning things over in the form of a foul, and it's those dribble handoffs. That one not as hard as we have seen throughout the night from those blindside screens, but made contact with Graham Boyce. It's just Foul either way, no matter how hard it is, it's the same concept.
Seems to be the play of the night, doesn't it?
Wickstrom going to try another three, misses this one. That one off the hands of Brockman, looking for a rebound. And Graham Boyce not able to save it. It'll be Wildcat ball in the corner.
Right. Mason Oberg did not start the second half, correct?
I believe so, yes. Mason Oberg, I don't think we've seen her in the third quarter.
Jaden Watts came out and I realized she had started, so she's not been in this half.
Yeah, maybe that's why we're seeing a lot more work with Ellie Brockman after Oberg took the hard hit. She did return to the game, but now we've seen Brockman in that guard role as Graham Boyce is there to steal away the ball and then have a head of steam down the court. She'll settle and give it to Dykstra on the right side. Dykstra guarded by Smith, no dribble. Graham Boyce now directing traffic on the right wing. Gets a screen from Wickstrom. Graham Boyce to the left side, defender in her face, forced to the ground and out of bounds. Took a hard tumble, but a good block rejected by Malia Smith on that drive. Excuse me, that's Asher Kai rejecting Maddie Graham Boyce there. Dykstra will be the inbounder for Western Washington. She gets it to Wickstrom. 10 on the shot clock for Western Washington. Entry pass stolen away by Johnson. She just jumped the lane as they were trying to feed Deaver down low. Huerta inside. 1 pound dribble for Sims, and she is fouled on the other end of the court. She's got 2 free throws coming as Olivia Wickstrom picks up the foul. A lot of contact down low. It's been tough on the officials tonight. Wickstrom did get tied up with her arm. Deaver was clean on it, but Wickstrom picks up her second foul. And free throws for Sims. This is the first. Vikings will spend the next 3 games on the road, something they've been used to this season. Only have played 4 games of their 14 played at home. 10 road games, and they will travel to Alaska and then also take on Simon Fraser in a span of 3 GNAC road contests upcoming for them. Deaver scoops it under the defender, and a foul is called. This one goes on Sims the other side.
By going under instead of up. Able to create body contact there. And Allison Deaver gets a pair of free throws.
Deaver, the transfer out of Utah Tech.
An 80% free throw shooter, Allison Deaver.
This is the first.
On the season, 14.1 points, 5.9 rebounds, leading the team in block shots, about 1.3 a game.
Carmen Dolfo and the Vikings have really unlocked Deaver after averaging just 4.8 points at Utah Tech. During her time, she played 32 games at the Division I level. So a decent amount of playing time, 16.5 minutes per game, but has really been a key part of this Vikings offense all year. For a team that was having a big hole at the post with Garrison and Walling both not here for this season. Walling graduated, Garrison with the injury. As Central Washington on offense has had a second chance off a rebound. Step to the side, shot, 3-pointer is good. Smith buries a tray. And the lead is now up to 14 for Central Washington. Wickstrom goes to the baseline, then has to stop. Tried to get a reverse layup. Sims is there to send it back. And this is going to be a foul on Olivia Wickstrom. This is going to cause also a timeout as Central Washington is up big. 42-28 is the score. It's a full timeout on the floor. 6:21 left when we come back in the third quarter here on Vikings TV. here at Western Washington University. Central Washington and the Wildcats have traveled into the WECU court here and hold a 42-28 lead over your home Vikings here on this Saturday night. Vikings in danger of another conference loss, 2 home games here, NNU on Thursday. With that, they lost by a score of 63-51. Vikings down big in quarter number 3. Plenty of time to come back, but the Vikings are going to need an offensive outburst, and they need to slow down Central Washington. Lead at 14 points for the Wildcats out of the timeout by Western Washington. As Kai drives in, she travels and will turn it over right out of the timeout.
For all the struggles, for all the difficulty, for all of the poor shooting, 30% from the field, you're only down 14.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a deficit, it's a hole, but it's not insurmountable if you can mount something here.
And Wickstrom pulls up from the free throw line and is able to get a mid-range jump shot. Wickstrom now with 12 points.
I had that little run in the first half after being down 16, and need something like that again to get it back in range. So if you can get it going into the fourth quarter, 6 or 8, you're right there. Maybe the crowd lifts you a little bit. It's a good crowd tonight.
It is, as it is always with a Central Western matchup. Bellingham always shows up when the Wildcats and Vikings go head-to-head in Carver Gym. 12-point lead for the Wildcats here on this possession with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Back out pass to Johnson, 3-pointer too short. Wickstrom got it off a deflection from Watts, and now Dykstra handles it up the floor for Western Washington. Demi on the right side gives it to Wickstrom. Wickstrom with Gramboyce there, ready to set a screen, and an on-ball foul called to Asher Kai for first.
Just a little shove there as dribbler turns the corner, and we'll have a media timeout here. Central Washington leading 42-30. We'll be right back.
Hey, get off your... Show off. Mountain Dew.
I would summarize my experience at Western as I was a guarded, nerdy kid who loved to perform, who allowed herself to put in the time and the effort to carve herself into something.
Jump in the trunk, jump in the trunk,
Okay. And whatever that was has led me to where I am right now, to be a fully realized woman. And I'm really thankful for the time and the effort that I put in for myself, because if I didn't do it, no one else was going to.
42-30 your score here in quarter number 3 here in Carver Gym. Wildcats and Vikings here on a rivalry night. Vikings trail by 12 out of our third quarter media timeout. Western Washington trying to make a comeback here on the Wildcats. Still got about 15 minutes to do so. Plenty of time for Western Washington to start to get the ball rolling on offense. Central Washington in a little bit of a scoring drought. Vikings trying to take advantage. And Evander Yacht is into the game for Western Washington out of the breakout there with Dykstra, Wickstrom, Watts, and Granboyce. On offense, Olivia Wickstrom, 7 on the shot clock, inside Watts. Jaden Watts outside to Dykstra, extra pass. Granboyce, top of the key, 3 offside on the right. Took a long tip on the rebound. Vikings guards were already back on defense though, and the Wildcats get it.
Doing the responsible thing, and it didn't work, unfortunately.
Dykstra able to get a block, but she's going to get called for a foul instead. So take away that stat and give her personal foul number 3 on the block attempt, as she almost got her second block of the night, but too much contact coming against Shelby Blodgett, who will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Blodgett, the transfer from Oregon Tech, where she began her collegiate career. This is the first of 2. Blodgett last season ended the year with 6 consecutive starts after only starting 4 games throughout the year leading up to that point, and now has continued as one of these starters for the Wildcats into the new year.
All right, your quiz for the night. Where's Oregon Tech?
Salem? I'm just shooting in the dark here. I have no idea.
Klamath Falls.
Okay. Hey, that's not that far. It's about an hour, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm really failing.
We
I'm
have
really
work
failed.
to do.
Graham Boy takes the 3.
When we get a break.
Yeah, right. Asher Guy gets the long rebound on their other side of things as Central has a 13-point lead under 4 minutes. Coronado has had some minutes off the bench trying to put Watts on a handle. Coronado now using that pivot foot to get it around. Gets Sims. Coronado wide open, calling for it. She gets it right back. Moves to the left side and finishes a good layup.
A one-hander there.
Whole possession was led by Annalie Coronado.
She had a good game here last year, had 15 points.
Watts, the fadeaway, gets it inside. Going to see a lot of Jaden Watts with the injury likely to Mason Oberg that seems to have taken her out of this second half.
Yeah. We've not seen Mason Oberg left the game with about 3.5 minutes left in the second quarter and has not returned since. And that was her only appearance after she took that very hard screen at the end of the first quarter.
Grandboy's able to get a tough basket through. Vikings with a string of baskets here.
And down to 11.
Vikings have closed out quarters very well throughout the night against the Wildcats. Kai with her 16 points atop the key, guarded by the Vikings' best defender in Maddie Grambois. She moves around her to her left, gets to her spot, finishes on the left side off the glass. Prolific scorer in Asher Kai is showing off tonight, 18 points. Dykstra fakes the screen from Watts, goes to the baseline, under the basket a little bit too far to put up a shot. Gives it to Vander Yacht. Grandboyce outside. Grandboyce.
And,
it's going to be an off-the-ball foul.
They're going to call it on Jaden Watts, who 2 or 3 times in that possession got popped hard by. Okay, I understand, but that was going on between the two of between both her and Kai and her and Sims the entire possession.
It was a bit of a reaction from Watts, is what you would say. That's the most frustrating one, but it's also probably the one that gets called.
Popped by Sims at the start of the play and then came out and set the screen and was visibly pained because it was right in front of us. And absolutely it was a foul. I mean, when you see that on replay, there's no way around it, but there were so many things that led up to it that they missed that.
Also, why were they about to shoot free throws on an offensive foul?
Yeah. One of those nights.
Just one of those nights. Obviously, the foul on Watts was an offensive foul. It is the 5th Vikings team foul. Offensive foul does not result in free throws, though, so they got that figured out. Carmendolfo was screaming from the bench, rightfully so, because the Wildcats were lined up at the free throw line as that is sent away by the Vikings defense. Scramble ball on the floor. Plenty of players spilled all over WECU court. And foul is called on Coronado. Somewhere in that scramble picks it up.
Yeah, Allison Deaver got knocked down.
Okay.
And the baseline official, who isn't necessarily looking right there, is sometimes looking past it, didn't see it. And it took a moment for the official on the sideline to call it.
It's been a physical game. Each side thinking that they deserve fouls in one way more than the other. What else would you expect in a Central Western matchup? 13 points the difference. Still Central holding on to a good lead. Vikings go down to Maddie Gramboyce in the post. Gramboyce around Johnson. Tried to force it up through her. Couldn't get it. And now Gramboyce tying things up with Finch. And the jump ball will give the Wildcats possession. Oh, no. They're going to call a foul on Gramboyce, actually.
Yeah. Gramboyce there was definitely a reach in, but then after the play, you had a little bit of a reaction.
So it's going to be free throws. It's going to be free throws for Finch off the foul to Maddie Gramboyce. Second personal. Vikings.
It has gotten really chippy.
It has. It's the end of this third quarter also.
And they are going to go look at this. So
mid free throw.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
They tried to double team Finch on the rebound, and Grand Boyce reached in and probably did commit a foul there on trying to tie the ball up. But after that, as they came away from it, Finch sort of swung out at Grand Boyce. Now, let's be clear, it wasn't a punch.
No.
It was just kind of a clear out move,
Yeah.
right? But was that enough to be flagrant? They're going to look at that and see.
After the first made free throw, they'll give Finch a long time to think about her second one, as they're going to see if there's anything extra going on here.
Well, keep in mind, we had one earlier. And from there, it doesn't seem to be.
Doesn't seem like there's too much
Look at the
going
baseline
on.
here. 'Cause from our angle, I saw more than what. That last little bit at the end there, I think, is what had Carmen Dolfo upset. Because from our angle, it looked a little more severe. From this angle, you don't see much. From the baseline, you see a little bit more.
Just the perspective that maybe Mandy Gramboyce got a little bit of some elbow from Finch or something. Don't think it's going to come out to be anything. It's a pretty quick review. They'll discuss it now on the floor. It's also a good time for the officials kind of to slow this game down. Almost felt like last couple of possessions had a couple of tough fouls, teams being upset. They go to the monitor, are able to slow the pace down between these two teams that want to win this game a whole lot. It's a common foul. As Finch will take her second free throw after making the first one. It's her first basket tonight. And not shot a field goal, just the free throw that she has made. And goes 2 for 2. Lead is up to 15 for Central Washington. A minute and a half left in the third quarter. Allison Beaver with the rock for the Vikings. Spins around her defender. Left side layup, no good. Wickstrom offensive rebound. One dribble for Wickstrom. Moving around her defender. Reverse attempt and just dropped it into the bucket.
And Riley Dykstreville, but without using the backboard.
Just floated it right into the spot. Under a minute now in the third quarter. Vikings down by 13. Wildcats, three-pointer from Smith. Short off the front side of the iron. Rebound Deaver. Dykstra up on the far side for Western Washington. Dykstra. Fade away.
Oh,
Got
I
it.
knew that pull-up was coming. Just saw her set it up. It's like, yep. Once she couldn't get to the rim, the pull-up was in force.
Got deep enough into that mid-range and went to the signature shot from Dykstra. As the Vikings have cut the lead down to 11. Still work to do against Central Washington. Wildcats, Huerta inside, tough basket. Shot clock turned off for Western Washington with a chance to end the third with a basket. 13 with Wickstrom on a drive. Outside to Gramboyce. Gramboyce gets to her spot, tries to go back to Wickstrom. It's out of bounds off of a Wildcat. And they actually have a foul called on Central Washington.
I think they're calling it on Finch.
It'll be
On
shots.
the handoff by Granboyce. She will go to the line and shoot a pair. That's the third on Finch.
Finch will come out of the game right after the foul, as well as Marsh following her. Sims is out there as their post present.
And they'll run Kai back out there with 8 seconds left in the quarter, knowing they have the last shot.
Gramboy's first free throw is good.
Maddie Granboyce, about 84% on the year. The Vikings as a team come in just a bit under 74%, which is very solid.
Here we go with the final shot here in the third quarter. Wildcats get it up the floor to Kai in a good spot. 3 seconds. Kai inside is rejected and out of bounds with a half of a second. As they're going to check to see how much time.
Check the clock. Allison Deaver with a very nice block on the baseline there.
See when this ball was officially called out of bounds.
So while we wait, Klamath Falls is in southern Oregon.
Oh, okay.
You know where Medford and Ashland are.
Sure.
It's basically over the mountain. Nice work. Don't you drive I-5 to get up here occasionally?
I did it twice. Haven't done it since.
You come
It's
into
been 3
Oregon
years.
on I-5, you get into Ashland and Medford and all that. You go up over the mountains from there, And that's where Klamath Falls is.
And Oregon Tech.
Yes. Southern Oregon is in Ashland. When your graduation present's going to be one of those old school road atlases.
It should be a map.
So I'm going to buy you one of those old school road atlases, and you can like look up all the hometowns so that I'm not around. You can act like you've got it down, right?
I have plenty of work to do. I'll have to study that thing a whole lot more than I study any of these games to try and learn something. You can show me a player's stats. Yeah, I can get that. Show me a map and tell me where a hometown is. I don't got that. It might take a very long time.
At least when Adam was here, he knew all the Montana towns.
Yeah, see, I couldn't get you. Maybe if you get some of California, maybe.
Southern California guys.
I could probably get around there, but there's not a lot of those in the GNAC.
You could probably do all the San Diego suburbs, right?
All those players go Pac-West CCAA. They don't come to the GNAC.
No.
So they put 1.9 on the clock for Central Washington to end the third quarter. Coronado inbounds to Kai. She's got a chance for a last shot. Takes a dribble, puts it up and off the back of the rim. No good. 11 points is the difference at the end of 3. 51-40 your score. Wildcats leading over the Vikings. When we come back, our final 10 minutes of basketball here in Carver Gym.
The Teaching and Learning Academy is an organization that's housed in the library, and it's where people come to have conversations.
They deal with serious issues that have emotional impact in ways that are typically not found in a class.
We've talked about diversity and inclusivity on our campus and in our community.
It not only enriches my education, but also impacts the ways that I can continue my leadership roles.
Back in Carver Gym for the finish of the Central Washington-Western Washington rivalry matchup here on this Saturday night. 51-40 as we enter quarter number 4 here on Vikings TV.
Now it's a crowd of 834 tonight. It's solid attendance. And it seems like at the end of every quarter, it's been right around that margin, right? It's been, it was 10 at the end of the first. It was 10 at the end of the second. It's 11 at the end of the third. And the Vikings just can't find that burst. There's a couple opportunities where they've had a look, a good look that would have gotten them within 5 or 6 and just haven't quite there. But same token, Central hasn't been able to break it open. The biggest lead's only been 16.
Vikings will have the first possession to start the fourth quarter. Need a basket. Trying to get things started on the right foot. As Ellie Brockman has it in the corner. Deaver playing on the outside. Brand Boyce, 12 on the shot clock, puts up a floater, rolls around. Wickstrom is there. It's off of a Wildcat defender. Vikings ball.
Nice hustle by Wickstrom, forcing the ball to get knocked out of bounds. Adding another possession here for the Vikings.
Fresh 20 seconds on the shot clock as well with Dykstra to inbound. Play is for Wickstrom on the inbounds. They get it to her a bit too far, but she's able to secure. Brand Boyce, no dribble, high post, Brockman. Down to Deaver. Pass was a bit too long for her. Top of the key with Ellie Brockman. 10 on the shot clock, Dykstra. Deaver, 2 defenders there. Spins around right side. Is fouled and 1. Allison Deaver, a chance for a 3-point play.
And the third foul on Caprice Sims. Nice catch. Nice finish. Again with that little lean through. It's a great job of stepping past the defender, getting that little scoop shot off the board. Does it with both hands. And the Vikings are within 8.
Closest the Vikings have been to the Wildcats in a long time throughout this game. Sims an immediate answer to put it back up to double digits. Sims now into double digits with 10 points. Deaver, same play, this time can't get it. Tipped around off of Central Washington, and Vikings ball on the baseline coming. Deja vu here as they'll have 20 seconds left shot clock with a baseline inbound. Maddie Gramboyce will set it in motion. The inbound is to Dykstra. In the corner, dribbles out to the wing, now gets into the lane. Pull up, mid-range jumper, rolls just outside as Sims secures the board. Pass up the court to Asher Kai. Kai guarded by Wickstrom. Pull up three for Kai, and she buries it. She's over into 20 points now. Matching her jersey number with 21 is Wickstrom. The other side gets a pull-up mid-range jumper to go.
18 for her. Well, they have gone at it hammer and tong tonight, haven't they?
Back and forth. Central and Western here. Wildcats still holding a 9-point lead. Excuse me, an 11-point lead as now Johnson dribbles it off of her foot, gets it back into the corner. Coronado all by herself gets that screen. Outside on the perimeter, driving on Brockman, puts up a layup and gets it. Another tough finish by Central Washington Wildcat. And this time Coronado off the bench getting her basket. Wickstrom guarded by Kai on the right wing, right in front of the Vikings bench as Wickstrom drives inside. Extra pass, Deaver, she's gonna try a three, gets it to go.
Allison Beaver stepping up here in the fourth quarter. 6 quick points, 13 on the game.
And a 10-point difference, Wildcats, Vikings. Coronado guarded by Dykstra, 15 on the shot clock for Huerta. Huerta hesitates, fades away, Brockman right in her grill, maybe got a piece of it. Vikings can cut it to single digits with a basket on their side of the court. Dykstra calls for a screen, goes around it to the right side, into the lane, and gets the layup. The offensive aggressiveness showing for the Vikings, who are trying to will themselves to a victory here against Central late in the fourth.
Can you get a stop here?
That's what you need. Huerta has been held to 9 points. Sims is fouled by Dykstra, so free throws coming for her.
That is the fourth on Demi Dykstra. One of the things that happened in the Western's loss earlier in the year to Montana State Billings was they were hanging tough, and at the end of the game, a couple players fouled out, and it just had a huge impact.
No Oberg tonight, so you can't even afford to lose Dykstra.
No. Some of the, okay, no, I take that back. They did not call that on Dykstra. They called it on Deaver. That is, they did call it on Demi, I'm sorry, and that is her fourth.
Dykstra is remaining in the game because they need her. They've brought in Anna Vanderyacht off the bench as well as Jaden Watts with 6:43. Going to allow Brockman and Deaver to get rest because they're likely going to have to go the rest of the way when they come back in. Dykstra will be the ball handler down the floor for Western Washington, trailing by 10, 60-50. Dykstra forcing her way in, turns around, comes up short. Wickstrom offensive rebound, shoves off the defender. Oh my goodness. The strength by Wickstrom on a jump ball call. It'll be Wildcats possession, even though Wickstrom muscled it out of the Wildcats' hands. Just toss Kai to the ground. What a physical matchup it has been between these two teams tonight.
It's been fun.
It's been very fun. Good crowd, both teams playing aggressive. As Asher Kai has it outside. Huerta for three. Can't get it off the front side of the rim. Huerta just 9 points tonight on 4 of 12 shooting. She does not like Carver Gym, as Carmen Dolfo is going to call a timeout. It will be a full timeout, so we'll take a break here at Vikings TV. Your score is 60-50, 6:03 left when we return in quarter number 4.
Hey, get off your... Show off. Mountain Dew.
I would summarize my experience at Western as I was a guarded, nerdy kid who loved to perform, who allowed herself to put in the time and the effort to carve herself into something.
Jump in the trunk, jump in the trunk,
And whatever that was has led me to where I am right now, to be a fully realized woman. And I'm really thankful for the time and the effort that I put in for myself, because if I didn't do it, no one else was going to.
Back in Carver, Jim, 10 points is the difference between the Vikings and the Wildcats. Down to the wire in the final 6 minutes here to go between these Central and Western rivalry matchup here on the Saturday night.
Central shooting 43% from the field, 23 of 53. The Vikings 38, 19 of 50. Vikings 9 of 10 from the line. Central just 8 of 13. Central 6 of 21 from 3. The Vikings 3 of 13, and we're back at it.
And the Vikings are on offense out of their own Carver-Dolfo timeout. Dykstra near the elbow. Dykstra gets down to the block, fades away, and rolls it in. Every time for Demi Dykstra. She's got 11 with plenty of them coming in this second half when they have needed her with Mason Oberg going down. Dykstra has helped step up as a foul is called on Western Washington's Jaden Watts. Another Viking who is now going to have 4 personal fouls. Might run out of players.
Yeah.
Watts is going to have to come off the floor. They need her to play the crucial minutes of this game. As it's Gramboy, Dykstra, Deaver, Wickstrom, and Vanderyacht for the Vikings. Blodgett down to Finch, tipped off of Central Washington.
It hit Finch, it hit Deaver, it hit Finch again, and then bounced out of bounds.
Ping-ponged its way around and out of bounds. Vikings will take the break. They're down by 8. This is a big possession for Western Washington to try and close in. Central Washington has just been dancing with a lead for this entire game. Vikings haven't had a lead tonight.
It's been between about 7 and 13 since late in the first quarter.
It is Deaver going to pull up, comes up short. Vikings don't get the basket that they wanted on that possession, approaching 5 minutes now in the fourth. Huerta right side, dribble handoff to Smith. Smith alone gets it to the top of the key and Kai. They go down low to Sims with a mismatch, but it's poked away. Vanderyacht and Dykstra both there. Here goes Anna Vanderyacht in transition, tries to get it to Gramboyce. It's tipped away and stolen. Kai is there to pick up a steal for the Wildcats and kill a transition for the Vikings. Really needed that. Just a costly turnover in a night where the Vikings have turned it over 11 times. As Huerta dribbles around, milking the clock here for Central Washington, trying to find an opening against the Vikings defense. Kai with 7 seconds. Kai hesitates, goes to the right side. Deaver with the closeout defense, rebound by Vanderyacht. Outlet pass up the floor to Gramboyce. Trail pass to Dykstra, now inside to Deaver. Deaver against the smaller Smith. Drop step, gets it. 6-point game.
Yeah, Kai went down on the drive, and so the Vikings had an advantage, and Deaver was screaming for the ball for about 4 seconds before she finally got it. As Central Washington will call a timeout.
60-54 is the score on a full timeout. 3:53 will step away on Vikings TV in the fourth quarter. Coming to a close. When we come back, it's a close one.
The Teaching and Learning Academy is an organization that's housed in the library, and it's where people come to have conversations.
They deal with serious issues that have emotional impact in ways that are typically not found in a class.
We've talked about diversity and inclusivity on our campus and in our community.
It not only enriches my education, but also impacts the ways that I can continue my leadership roles.
Welcome back to Sam Carver Gymnasium, WECU Court. Central Washington with a 60-54 lead. The Vikings have made that dent. They've got it to 6. Nice play by Allison Deaver to score in kind of early offense. Not a fast break truly, but she got up the floor quickly, got a mismatch against Malia Smith, and just kept insisting on getting the ball and finally got it and very quickly turned and finished.
Wildcats out of their timeout will have the possession to try and answer the Vikings offense that is on a 9-2 run right now. Johnson with the ball. She's out there with Kai as well as Sims. That one is off of Central Washington and a costly turnover out of the timeout. Not what they drew up. Vikings have a chance to cut it to a one-possession game on the 9th turnover by Central Washington. Demi Dykstra goes around the right side of Deaver, drives across the baseline, switching around the court. Deaver gonna try a three. Yes!
Oh! Demi Dykstra with the old Steve Nash move. Go underneath and just keep turning the corner until you find something. And Deaver's three pulls the game to within 3.
Kai looking to answer for the Wildcats, looking for her teammate Huerta. Wayward pass is secured by Sunny. Huerta around Wickstrom into the corner. Smith thought about it, traveled in the corner. Another turnover by Central Washington. Costly mistakes for Central, and the Vikings have a chance to make them burn. Allison Deaver making a three-pointer, her second of the night, in 2 attempts.
Same set here, Dykstra and Deaver. 2-player game over here.
Pick and pop again, this time a handoff to Grambois from Deaver. Grambois in the mid-range finds a cutting Deaver to the basket, has it ripped out of her arms. Foul is called. Deaver headed to the line.
Yes.
It's a beautiful cut by Deaver. And just Wildcat defenders trying to poke it loose, couldn't do it cleanly. Deaver 2 free throws. She's been to the line 3 times tonight, has made 2. Misses the first. Deaver and Wickstrom, the Vikings offensive leaders, both with 18 points tonight. Gets a second to go and a 2-point game. Coronado going to come back in for Central Washington as Smith is headed to the bench. Coronado 4 points off the bench tonight, handles it down the floor for Central Washington. The Wildcats are scoreless in their last 4 minutes of the 4th quarter. They have gone cold at the wrong time, and the Vikings have brought it within 1 score. It's Sims inside, trying to force her way there. Forces off of Wickstrom, but can't get a layup.
A chance to tie or lead here.
Dykstra on the right wing, guarded by the newly checked-in Coronado. It's that same look. Goes around, Deaver on the baseline, kick out to Brockman on the floor, into Wickstrom. She's got a lane, and she's fouled. She's got free throws coming. It was a late whistle, but she's headed to the line.
There were enough bodies between. I had no idea where that pass had gone.
Me neither.
Dykstra with a kick to Brockman, who sees, and from that angle, Wickstrom's wide open, but the massive humanity between us and that pass
I had
was
no idea.
Substantial.
And all of a sudden, Wickstrom just had the wide open layup.
That's why she was so open. They were all over here.
Yeah, exactly. Gets the first free throw, and now just a 1-point game.
Who have never led and never tied to this point. Have tied it now.
Not anymore.
With 2:08 to play.
Wow. 60 all.
Wow. It's noisy in here a little bit.
It is. It's fun. Who else but Asher Kai to try and answer. Point leader, backdoor cut. Oh, she fell down. Johnson fell and maybe even slipped up. Maybe tweaked something. Vikings right now have a 5-on-4. As Dykstra goes inside, she's blocked by Sims, and they'll stop play here to check up on Riley Johnson. She is on the other side of the floor. Obviously something went wrong on her drive attempt. And it will cool things down for a minute as they check up on the junior Johnson to make sure that she's all right. Slipped or something on the drive. Just went to the floor the wrong way. Vikings 10-0 run have brought us 60-60. Johnson has been a piece off the bench tonight. Has played 18 minutes for Central Washington for Randy Richardson.
It's just been a remarkable comeback by a shorthanded Ellie Croco had made it back in, not playing tonight. Mason Oberg gets hit on a hard screen, tries to go, we haven't seen her since late in the 2nd quarter. And so it's been an injury-filled night for the Vikings, but also now Riley Johnson having to limp off. And speculate here, but it was her reaction as the ball went the other way, and just the agony of that, just pounding the floor, as if she knew something had gone pretty severely wrong. So
Johnson, when she came to Carver Gym last year, dropped 12 points here in Carver Gym, went 4 of 4 from 3. It was actually her career high tonight. Has played nearly 20 minutes for the Wildcats. Just 1 of 2 from the floor shooting.
From Kashmir. And so a long history of playing against the Dykstras in the 1A state tournament at Linden Christian. A couple state championship games that they faced each other in.
And the Wildcats will replace her absence with Blodgett, joining Coronado, Kai, Huerta, and Sims out there for the Wildcats. Dykstra for Western Washington, a chance to take the lead. Tied at 60, a minute 40 left in this game. Dykstra almost lost her dribble. Wickstrom, top of the key, gets inside, had it poked away from behind. Brockman, mid-range jumper to take the lead. (62-60), the Vikings lead the Wildcats. Sims gets it on Deaver.
Tough post.
All knotted at 62, approaching a minute. Dykstra handling down the floor. 11 points, 7 assists for the sophomore Dykstra. Goes around the right side, lost it for a second. Deaver cleaned it up for her. Grandboyce fakes a 3, got the defender in her air, tried to get it out to Deaver, but it's poked out of bounds by Blodgett. Good recovery by Blodgett to even break up that pass. Ellie Brockman, her first points of the night, come in a huge spot. First jump shot of the night. Vikings now under a minute. They have 5 on the shot clock. Dykstra pulls up, had it blocked. Oh my gosh, she put it in somehow.
It got blocked. She held on to it and just pushed it to the basket.
Forced it inside, and Central Washington is going to burn one of their 2 timeouts. We'll keep things here in this 64-62 game, 38 and 8/10.
Yeah, so we'll get a look here. Denny's. That's a nice defensive play, and she just fights through it and takes the right hand and just follows through and finishes. It's an incredibly athletic play by Demi Dykstra.
Just willed it into the basket. Huerta made a nice play to even force the difficulty on the shot.
13 points, 7 assists for Demi tonight. And let's talk about Ellie Brockman. I'm pretty sure she's played 14 minutes tonight. Ellie Brockman hasn't played 14 minutes before. If it is, it was in a game that the Vikings were well up, and she got minutes when the game was not in doubt, to use the more polite phrasing. But she's been steady, and when she absolutely had to hit a shot there, her first shot of the night.
Yeah, only third make of the season.
Yeah.
She's been called upon with the injury to Mason Oberg, and with the trust put into her, she delivered a big-time shot. Vikings lead thanks to Dykstra's basket. Timeout from Central Washington. It's 64-62. Vikings lead. Coronado to Kai for Central. Kai guarded by Grandboyce. 13. Something's called here off the ball. It's going to be on Watson. She's out. That's going to be an off-the-ball foul called on Jaden Watts. I believe I was seeing the 21. Yeah, that's her 5th. Vikings are waiting for something here before sending Deaver back into the game. Jaden Watts will be fouled out of this game with 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Allison Deaver will come back in for her.
I did not see. I was watching other parts of the ball. Did not see what happened. But there has been battling all night, and at times they've had to call some of that. So 7.6 difference between game and shot clock here.
Wildcats with Kai. Gets to the spot on the left. Deaver sends it away.
All right, so let's set it. Central baseline, Western up by 2. 15 seconds on the shot clock, 21.8 as we see Deaver with another block. Her third of the night.
Wildcats with an extra chance. Thanks to the deflection out of bounds. Huerta moves around a screen near the free throw line, switching sides to the elbow. Pass down low and a foul called. Not going to be received well by Carver Gym, as it is going to go on Deaver.
The thing about this is it's not in the bonus.
But it does also eliminate 6 seconds on the shot clock.
But Central will now have
the last shot.
Yes, they'll have the last shot, but down 2.
So a chance to tie, send us to OT, or a chance to win maybe. There was going to be 6 seconds on the shot clock when the foul was committed, but now shot clock turned off with 13.2 left. Central Washington going to draw up what has to be their money play at this point. They have led for 37 minutes of these 40 minutes that we have played, as Western Washington has just been barely able to take over the Wildcats in this fourth quarter.
The Vikings have led for 45 seconds tonight.
Yes, exactly. Their only lead is what they're holding on to here, with a 64-62 lead over the Wildcats. It'll be on the baseline for Central. Coronado will deliver the pass. Wildcats.
See what they run here.
Could send us to OT or win it. See what they go with. It's a pass out to Blodgett. Top of the key, looking for Sims down low. Tipped off her hands. Vikings steal it away. Dykstra dribbling it away, and with 7 seconds, she's fouled.
So we now have the same situation. That's only the 4th team foul on the Wildcats, so they'll have to foul. They'll have to foul again. That ball's still on. Everybody else has come down for free throws, but that ball's going to be on the sideline, about free throw line extended. The Vikings can call timeout to advance the ball, and Carmen Dolfo has done just that. She's going to take a 30. We clearly aren't leaving at this point.
Yeah, exactly. With just 7 seconds, Central Washington had a couple of sloppy offensive possessions down there with a chance to take the lead. Vikings defense makes the difference and gets potentially biggest steal of the game here, as Maddie Grambois was involved in that. This is a chance for 700 for Carmen Dolfo. If Vikings can win it, it would be win number 700 in her career.
Wow.
They wanted to do it at home, of course. It's in the back of everyone's mind. She would be only the 5th active Division II women's basketball head coach if the Vikings can go on to win this game. 7 seconds. The Vikings will have an inbounds in the front court.
All right, so on the floor, you've got Demi Dykstra's going to throw it in. You've got Ellie Brockman, Allison Deaver, Olivia Wickstrom, and Maddie Granbois. With the exception of Brockman, who hasn't tried a free throw this year, all 4 Vikings on the floor are 80% or better from the foul line.
Central Washington does not have a timeout. Vikings have 1 more left to maybe avoid potentially anything dangerous. It's into Grambois, who is fouled by Blodgett. And free throws coming now with the bonus. It'll be Grambois at the free throw line. She has a chance to seal this game away with 2 makes.
Sorry, the Wildcats are out of timeout, so they cannot advance the ball the way Western just did.
If they get a second shot miss, they just got to turn and go. Richardson is asking for the officials to look at the clock here and maybe see if they can fix this a little bit to see if there's an accurate time description. 5.8 is it right now. They'll look to see if Central Washington was bleeding for us, the officials, to look at the time to see if it's on there.
We were at 7 when the ball was brought in?
Yes, we were at 7 flat.
I would not be surprised if we see a little bit put back on then.
Maybe a
That
6.1
foul was
or
pretty quick.
yeah.
6.1, 6.2, even towards 6.4.
A win today would be win number 700 for Carmen Dolfo, as we mentioned, as the officials are going to check this time here. Only 43 head coaches at all levels in the NCAA have reached 700 career wins. Only 12 have reached it in women's basketball. Carmen Dolfo would be number 13 all time and number 5 currently active in Division II.
Amazing coaching career, also an accomplished career as a player, an NAIA All-American. I saw Carmen Dolfo score 35 points here one night.
In Carver?
Mm-hmm.
Officials have reached a time agreement here, and it will move to really.
We were on 7 flat, right?
We were at 7 flat.
Graham
2/10 of a second to catch the ball and get
caught
fouled.
the ball, landed. Okay.
What's the science behind that?
I don't know.
What's the NBA has a rule, right? You can't get a game winner if it's .4, but it's humanly impossible or whatever. Graham Boy's first free throw here. One more would do it.
And she can render that just about moot if she makes this free throw.
She hits it.
As
Wildcats, just no foul on a three-pointer. Kai puts it up and hits it.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness, with 1.2.
Not quite moot.
We thought
that
it was.
A stroke. Oh.
Central could have a miracle on their hands if they could force a turnover. Vikings have used their final timeout. It's got to be a 5-second violation or a bad pass on the inbounds, basically.
Yeah, there are ways you could.
I guess if you're getting fouled
first of all,
in 2 seconds.
don't take a 5-second violation.
Yeah.
Okay, because you don't want to give them the ball back. You could throw the ball in this way and just be sure it doesn't go out of bounds. As long as you throw it somewhere on the floor toward your basket, you should be okay. I don't think I would line up like they did on the last possession when they were looking to get fouled. I think I'd spread it more so that you're throwing it somewhere where once it gets caught, it's going to be over. You know, somebody's going to have to catch it and throw it 75, 80 feet. You could beat with that. Then, maybe put Deaver on about the elbow and try and throw it to her. And spread everybody else out in such a way that if you're going to have to reach around Allison Deaver to get the ball, you're not going to be in a position to shoot it.
Asher Kai hits the 3 to keep this thing interesting. A 1-point difference. Kai, 24 points. 66-65 lead for Western Washington with 1.2 seconds left in the fourth.
It won't go to Allison Deaver. Well, it may. She's going to be the safety.
They will have 3 players line up. Dykstra inbounds. Countdown starts here. They get it into Grand Boyce. She is fouled. And they're probably going to look at this again.
And in principle, the same spread. You throw a ball there that Maddie Graham Boyce is stealing on. If you get it from her, you're not going to be able to do much. And
it's .4. Officials are going to talk about it. See the clock here. Central Washington wants a little bit more time. Graham Boyce at the free throw line again. Graham Boyce did catch that ball outside of Blodgett, so it took a second for Blodgett to even catch up to her to call the foul. And that's a result in the 0.4 of a second left. Graham Boyce at the free throw line. 2 free throws for her, and it'll have to be a miracle for Central. She misses the first one. Second free throw from Graham Boyce. Wildcats have to give it a heave. Makes it.
Remember, you can't actually shoot it. You could on 4-10s. Nope.
But it won't happen. And Western Washington has won. Win number 700 for Carmen Dolfo, and the Vikings beat the Wildcats in the rivalry matchup 67-65.
And I don't know if there has been a guttier win than those 700. That was phenomenal.
Just a comeback victory. Carmen Dolfo 700 has history. Vikings will move to 9-6 overall, 4-2 in conference play. Central Washington 10-4 and 3-2 in conference play. Carmen Dolfo, the win of the night, is win number 700 for her in her career. The legendary career of Carmen Dolfo continues in this season with win number 700. As we will try and get a word now on the floor with Carmen Dolfo about the historic night for Western Washington. What a win for the Vikings. Obviously, the celebrations here Vikings celebrating win number 700, and what a way to do it for the Vikings in comeback fashion. They're able to do things and secure it for their coach. They're celebrating with confetti down on the floor. Dolfo, only the 5th active NCAA Division II women's basketball coach out of 290 Division II teams. Carmen Dolfo is one of 5 that have 700 wins in her career. We'll try and grab a word down the floor after these celebrations get in as they get some pictures ready for here as well. Just tell me what your emotions are right now, win number 700 and the way your team did it for you.
I'm just really super proud of them. I mean, we had Mason, our point guard, go down, and we didn't, we don't have much of a bench, and they just ground that out, and they did it together, and they did it with heart and grit, and I'm really super proud of them because we didn't have a lot of players, but they really worked hard.
Yeah, 700 wins, only the 5th active coach to do that in Division II women's basketball. What does that feat mean for you throughout your career?
I mean, honestly, it's just really about our program, and I've had amazing assistants, and I've had amazing players, and some of them are here tonight, and I just, I feel really lucky to be able to have this career here at Western, and just the people that I've been surrounded with, they're all part of it, and because of that.
You had the awesome moment where, final buzzer finally rang, your team runs over to you. Just talk about this season's team and what makes them special to you this year.
I mean, it's been hard. I mean, we've had to gut out a lot of things, and we've had so many injuries, and everybody's not saying die. We're just fighting, and it's obviously not pretty. It wasn't pretty tonight, but they just showed so much heart and so much desire, and that's what I'm really proud of them.
Team season, of course, you're known for competing at the next level, going to conference tournaments, NCAA tournaments throughout your career. You've done that. What can you hope that this team does for the rest of the way to get us to another competitive season in the post year?
I mean, I just want them to play hard. I want them to value defense, and I want them to continue playing together.
All right, thank you, Coach. Congratulations on win number 700. Historic night here in Carver Gym. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
Okay, thanks. Yep.
Vikings women's will travel on the road to take the Alaska schools on, and you can catch men's basketball here Thursday night, 7 p.m. on Vikings TV. Have a good night, and go Vikes.